In this video, we will show you the hypercoverage feature of TESSY and how to combine coverage from unit and component tests. Let's assume that we run a component test, doing some functional testing, and we already achieve a high percentage of code coverage, as shown within the flowchart. Special branches, for example, error handling, may not be covered so that we can add an additional unit test covering this branch. As a result, the cumulated coverage now shows a complete coverage for our test object. The hypercoverage feature of TESSY combines the coverage of the component and unit tests. We start with an empty project and a source file with a simple implementation for a component. Let's have a look into the source file. The file contains a handler function and two called functions. Let's switch back to the test project view, where we will run a readily prepared component test with branch coverage enabled. After running the component test, we select the source file with the function is enabled in the test cockpit view. Now we can see that there is missing coverage. We switch to the coverage viewer, where TESSY shows the missing branch both within the flowchart and within the source code view. Let's switch back to the test project view to create an additional unit test to cover this branch. We select unit as a kind of test, and we select the same source file that has been tested with our component test. Now, we analyze our module, select the respective test object, and create a test case. Within Test Data Editor, we enter an invalid counter and the define invalid as the expected result. Now we can execute this test. After running the unit test with coverage, we switch to the coverage viewer, where we can see that our error handling branch is covered. We switch back to the overview perspective and select the source file within the test cockpit view. Now we can see that the coverage of the component and unit test have been combined, and that in total, all functions of our source file are fully covered. Please note, the test project view still shows the partly reached coverage from the individual tests that are contributing to the test objects of this source file. Let's select the summary test object and switch to the coverage viewer again. When we select the test object within the test cockpit view, we can see the cumulated coverage of both component and unit test.